Maestra, lei nasce in Slovenia, un paese la cui tradizione corale è saldissima. Ci racconti del suo avvicinamento alla musica e al coro?
Yes, like you said, I was born in Slovenia, where we have great choral tradition, especially among amateur choirs. This is big difference, for instance, towards countries like right now I'm living in Norway, and there is big difference between professional and amateur choirs. In Slovenia, it's not exactly like that. In Slovenia, the amateur choirs has great approach, has a good taste for music, and they are also willing to spend many hours at the rehearsal to achieve good result with quite complex music. And we have many good composers through the history, and also somehow the choirs are, then the tradition of the choir is very good, and also lately the singers in amateur choirs are also vocally educated.
Thank you. E quali sono le differenze nella posizione nelle prove?
You mean my approach to the choir, or in general the difference in the approach?
In general, the difference.
Yeah, right now it's a little bit like that. In Slovenia, the choirs, they respect tradition, and also it means it represents a little bit a status to sing in the choir. Choirs like to go to competitions, they want to compete with each other, they want to achieve a very good level. Yeah, so they are willing to spend time needed for it, and also efforts needed for this, because it's not very easy to sing complex music. You need to do some more efforts to get to a good result. But in Norway it's like that those choirs, we have some very good amateur choir as well. They are mostly university choirs. Otherwise people are choose to sing in the choir like a hobby. Okay. And then so it's a little bit certain difference where do you want to go with the choir, how much demanding repertoire you can perform with amateur choir there, how many hours they are willing to spend on the rehearsals. And also the politics of the country is a little bit different than in Slovenia, because in Slovenia the amateur choirs who want to compete, they get some funding. You can apply for money, then you can get some funding for competition. In Norway it's not exactly like that. The choir singers need to pay their journey by themselves if they go to competition. So then choirs usually don't choose so often that they that they would go for the competition. They rather go for a tour, concert tour, when they don't need to stay all the time so focused and to aim just for one aim.
Thank you. Oggi il Polifonico dedica la giornata alle donne in musica e crede che nell'ambito della direzione corale vi sia una parità tra i sessi?
Yes, I would say so, yes.
You're free, huh?
I would say that in the choral music it's gender quite important. There are some things that are affecting us a little bit, and it goes, of course it goes by the individual person, but still it goes a little bit that male charisma on the place of the leader is somehow a little bit dominating. So for some cases it's many times like that the woman needs to be 3 times as efficient as men to achieve the same result that men can do this. And this goes a little bit for the tradition we are coming from, and something goes also a bit how we are raised up, and also this that since we are small we more meet female teachers. So you have female teachers in the primary school, you have that, and somehow we get used to this teaching authority that is not really artistic authority. And that's why I think when the woman wants to achieve really artistic result, then it needs to have much more technical knowledge and really try to be more efficient than men. I mean, somebody would maybe not agree with that, but this is how maybe I experienced it.
Thank you very much. Siamo giunti al momento The Best Of. E qual è la sua attrice preferita?
The actress.
Yes.
I don't have any particular actress in the mind. If you ask me, there are many very good actresses, and I don't really focus on one. You want me to name one? Julia Roberts.
Il suo cantante preferito?
Bruce Springsteen. He's not a good singer at all, but he can animate audience very well. Mm-hmm. But that when it comes to his vocal qualities, you can say anything about that.
Il suo pittore preferito?
I don't think I have one. Yeah, Ivan Grochar.
La sua scrittrice preferita?
Best writer, it's very difficult to answer this question because when you answer this, if I say somebody from Slovenia, somebody from Norway can be offended. If I say somebody from Norway, there's somebody in Slovenia would be offended. I like to read everyone that can express its thoughts in a concentrated and a beautiful way.
Il suo compositore preferito?
This is also very difficult to answer the question. I had a very close relationship to composer Luis Lebic in Slovenia. And he is a great composer. He with small effects, with small work you achieve great effects with his works. But I also had very close relationship with Rautavaara. And I was very sad when I found out that he is dead now. So there are many composers I like to perform a lot, mostly contemporary.
Il repertorio contemporaneo si basa nella manca. Che cosa preferisce eseguire e quali problematiche di interpretazione pone questo repertorio?
The musical language in contemporary music is more developed. So there are some challenges that you are searching for, contemporary music actually represents challenge for me. I enjoy to pick new piece, to analyze it, to see how the composer was working, how he was building. There are, for instance, Volga Suite that is built on symmetrical scala and things like this, and then when you find the principle, then it's not difficult to follow it and to perform it. But maybe it's a little bit more difficult to make singers like contemporary music, so you really need to be quite convincing in knowing it, and also then you find something in expression. Because if you go for that, then you can also convince singers, and you can make a very good performance also with the contemporary music. Because in the way when singers are performing, like it is simple, that they can easily handle it, then also for the audience it's not difficult to listen this contemporary music. What is mostly problem is that the choirs don't learn contemporary music well enough, and then they go on stage and the audience see that the singers are struggling with the piece. And then, of course, they also don't like it. You cannot convince anybody if the singers are not sure. So what I try to achieve is then that singers master the piece so well that they can perform it easily on the stage, no matter how difficult it is, so that it doesn't sound so difficult then for the audience, and then audience can actually concentrate on the message we are bringing with the music.
Thank you. Nel 2009 si è trasferita in Norvegia, in 3 giornate di luce e in inverno in 3 giornate di buio. Come si trova?
It's actually beautiful. It's very nice to see this miracle of the nature and miracle of the why Earth is like that. That in the summer we have already day, and in the winter we have already night. This is something very nice to experience, and I would afford this to every one of you. It's nice to live in Norway. It's a beautiful country. The nature is very beautiful. The people are very kind, especially in the North Norway, and the state is full of possibilities, so it's good. Of course, it's difficult for you to change the country when you are 40, like I was when I moved. Then you are quite established person, you have some reputation in one country or something, so then it's a little bit difficult with everything, to learn a language and to get to live in the new environment, but I think everything is going just very well, and this day and night I don't find this a problem at all. It is the least problem. It is maybe more the climate, because the climate is very different that is here in the Mediterranean Europe. For instance, here you can enjoy sitting outside and eating meal from March until October. There we are watching the terrace in these days, and it is full of snow. Sometimes we cannot enter on the snow, and many times it's so frozen outside, so it's difficult to walk. These things are maybe more difficult, but night is beautiful when all the time is darkness. Norwegians, they don't have curtains on the windows, so all the light is coming out and is reflecting in the water, because we are on the island in the sea. So it's actually very beautiful. It's not so very dark that this would be scary, but it's nice darkness. And day, when it's all the time day, it's also nice. You don't need to sleep at all. So.
Lei è sposata con Ragnar Rasmussen. Cosa significa condividere lo stesso tetto con un direttore importante quanto lei?
Yeah, everyday life is interesting. Especially what we end up is a lot of traveling. This is what can somehow characterize our life, because if we don't want to live separated all the time, then we need to travel. I need to travel when he is working, and he needs to travel when I'm working. Then we are using somehow hotel rooms as our offices, and this is how is life mostly living. But of course, we are both conductors. Somehow we have both strong will. And sometimes we need to ride slalom a little bit in between, but I think we manage quite well. We have good life. I'm very happy with being married with him. Yeah.
Un'ultima domanda. La donna dirige in gonna o pantaloni?
Okay, this I understood. I don't know, I think how you feel better. For instance, we have some elegant conductors that look beautiful in the skirt, and some of them look better in the trousers. This goes about the feeling. Yeah. And actually, if you look beautiful, you can do a lot with the charm as well. You know, but you need to be that person. I'm not like that. I prefer trousers.
Thank you.
Grazie.